Boom. What's up, fam? Anthony Johnson here today, founder of 21 Studios and the Redman Group. Got a special episode today, episode 157, with special guests new to the show. Very exclusive interview with Jeremy from The Quartering. Before we get into today's show, check out our sponsor, of course, 21 Studios and New Locals. It's like Patreon, but free speech oriented, co-founded by Dave Rubin. So it's like Patreon, but they won't ban you for hate speech and all this other fake garbage that they do today. So check out our New Locals, support the channel. As a lot of you know, we recently got demonetized by YouTube temporarily. We did win the appeal, but still, it long-term kind of sucks. Obviously, that kind of stuff can happen again, and even bigger channels can get nuked. Recently, Jeremy did a video on a channel with 2 million subscribers that got terminated. No warning, kind of like we did recently from the partner program. So check out our locals at 21studios.locals.com, link in the description. And you can also send us money at 21studios.com/donate, big sponsor of the show. Join 21 University, locals, or just send money because we need it to make videos and events. I appreciate it big time. So today's guest is Jeremy from The Quartering. Link in the description to his website with all of his links to his main channels and alt tech, new tech. That's thequartering.com. This guy's huge. He's got over 1 million subscribers just on YouTube and over 4,000 videos, which is crazy. We have over about 2,200 and change on 21 Studios and a couple hundred more on other channels. But this guy has more than double that, which is just absolutely crazy. I know the amount of work it takes to do 2,000 plus videos on YouTube. 4,000 is like mind-boggling. That's a ton. So check out his website at The Quartering, and of course his channel on YouTube at The Quartering. You can see he's got over 600 million views, so over 500 million, which again is just amazing. So very excited to have him on the show. And without further ado, welcome Jeremy to the show. How you doing, man?
Hey, I'm doing well. Thanks for having me. How are you doing today?
Doing pretty good, man. Yep.
Yeah.
I really appreciate you coming on. We've been talking a little bit since the Jack Murphy phenomena, arguably one of the biggest internet implosions within the past couple of years, if not ever.
Yeah, definitely the biggest probably in my lifetime. Like creating content, one of the most epic, unforced errors of all time.
Yeah, it just kept getting worse and worse too. Like eventually, people piled on, but initially it was really just all him. And
yeah, go ahead. Yeah. I mean,
yeah,
I think it's if he had taken his L early, it might have cost him. What people don't do is they don't do the math. He lost like 40 G's, 50 G's a month, not 40 or 50 G's a month. If he had just taken his L on that article, people probably would have moved on.
Yeah.
But if he didn't have like that meltdown and people just asked him about the article and he's like, whatever, it's stupid, that would have been the end of it almost certainly.
Yeah.
And then, he dug himself out of obviously I don't know if every member that left was a monthly member, but it's a fair assumption. That's he lost like 500 members at $99 a month. I mean, that's
a short term. Long term, he'll lose even more. I think he'll be facing bankruptcy. He'll be facing bankruptcy at this rate.
Yeah, definitely. I assume his group is seeded by people that either paid much less earlier or like his friends. But like, you don't want to like sell $100 a month membership and then only have 2 members in there because it would look weird.
Yeah.
But I mean, his name is done. He's gonna have to change it again. I suspect he'll pivot into this like blue pill back to his blue pill stuff where he'll be like, oh, the right's just so toxic, we're gonna do our own thing now. And then that's his only play left.
I think he might try a God thing too. That's what a lot of my friends that know him were saying, like a big God pivot. But this is a good idea too, a blue pill thing. From Democrat to deplorable, back to being a Democrat or whatever.
Well, or he'll say like, it was all an experiment. I embedded myself with both sides, and I'm actually smarter than both of them. And here's what I now know. But I actually, based on actual things, like I know you have your moles as well as I do. They're probably the same people. Yeah. I have noticed a change. I have noticed a change or a strong biblical, in what he's telling his group now. He's talking about a lot of religious stuff, and I don't know if he was before, but
he was a little bit, over the past few months. But the timing, given his implosion, will be, I think that's one of the main. It's one of his top 2 pivots at this point to survive. And I don't want any harm to go to the guy. Like, I've known him for years.
I want him to be. I want him to be completely broke. I want
Yeah.
him
Oh, for
out of
sure.
the industry. I want him to get a regular job and have a successful life, but I don't want him grifting off men. Period.
100%. 100%. Yeah. That's what I said. A lot of my friends were early on before the porn stuff came out, the spicy stuff. They wanted me to back off Jack and kind of ease up. And I was like, no, we're gonna meme him to oblivion. And the only thing that'll make me stop if is he gets suicidal. So long as he's not suicidal, I'm gonna keep going with the memes, even now, just for fun.
Yeah, they floated that. And that's a very frustrating thing because, you know, I've been open about that too, where like, you know, I have a big channel and I know no matter what I say to people, there's going to be some people that go too far and whatever. It's just, it sucks. It's a part of the game.
Yeah.
But like once somebody pulls that card, I'm just out.
Yep.
I'm just out. And like, does that mean that people are going to do it even though they're not? Yes. And like I had somebody email me and say like, bro, back off. He's suicidal. I'm like, do you have any evidence of this?
Yep.
Well, I heard from my herd. I'm like, okay, well, here's a new meme of him sitting on a dildo. Like, you know, when I don't have a lot of, and even though his business has collapsed, he's still, if the numbers are monthly, I know the numbers of his members. So if they're all a monthly, he's still pulling 30, 40 G's a month. So it's hard to feel bad for him.
Yeah. I do hope he falls apart though, that whole thing. I mean, it's sick. It's fraud. Like, it needs to stop. And I want to say too, man, that you did one of the reasons I made this meme specifically. It's actually an old Trump meme that we've adapted a couple times to different frauds and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But once you drop the, I think it was when you dropped the spicy bits on, because like this was hysterical with the cuck stuff and then him imploding. But you took it. One of your followers, I think on Twitter, said like you took this to like Clinton side, like Clinton levels, dropping this stuff on Twitter. Dude, like I know a lot of guys from speaking and stuff, you know, meeting Jack at our conventions and stuff. We've known him for years and none of us knew anything about the porn stuff. Like this got us, the cuck stuff was pretty bad, but you know, his
that
whole
was
life
was floating around too. That had been floating around for some time. You know, there's, how do I say this? You know, the reason when you reached out about doing the podcast, I don't normally do them. You seem
very
like
exclusive podcast, extremely exclusive, ultra exclusive.
Well, it's more about like, you know, finding somebody who's authentic. Like there are other people in this space. You know, if you know who I'm talking about and you want to name them, that's fine. But there are other dudes who like wrote articles about banging trannies, and then there's our transvestites or whatever.
Cernovich,
you know, like and like, hey, here's my thing. Awesome, bang who you want to bang, bro. Like, I couldn't care less if you have a thing for you know, trans women or men or whatever. But then don't try to act like some super alpha. You know, I am the way.
Hyper masculine.
Like bang who you want. Awesome. But there's a lot of guys in the manosphere who are complete frauds.
Yep.
And
amen, brother. A woman.
Yeah, a woman. You know, the also there's a lot of degenerates that a lot of people don't know about. I'm not like going to drop names now, but like if you hang out in these circles, a lot of these like conservative guys who are family guys are actual like, you know, poon hounds and like you know, they live the clean life, but they don't. I see it because I go to conventions, you know, and I speak at these events and I see people on our side, what they're really like. And
you've done public speaking? I wasn't aware of that.
Yeah, I've done MythCon. I did a couple of MRA. I did the Honey Badger thing. Yep, I did that.
Cool.
And I don't love public speaking because I get real anxious with it. But you know, I've seen all these people behind the scenes, and they, I mean, fresh and fit.
Oh yeah,
know, like
big
you
one.
know, what I mean? Like all of these. Like, is there? I mean, the amount of, oh my god, I remember the do you remember Coach Red Pill?
Yeah, I know who he is.
Yeah, there's that guy, and like all these dudes end up being shady. They have some, they have fake names, and then all this bad bullshit attached to their old names. And
I don't know much about Coach Red Pill, but
he's a dead
definitely.
meme now, but I mean, like he was, he was coming up, and he would do these how in like the MRA space, there's a pretty clear line of delineation that doesn't get talked about a lot. Like if you talk to a lot of these men, there's like MGTOWs, which is to me totally fine. And but then there's like also people that like really hate women.
Yeah.
And like that's not healthy either.
Nope.
And so his following was like that, like, oh, treat women like garbage because they're just a warm, wet hole kind of stuff. And I'm like, well, this is not being a man either. Like, this is like a self-fulfilling prophecy. Like, women will never love me, so therefore I'll be terrible to them, and then they won't love me, so I'll prove myself right. And they get in this like
Confirmation bias cycle.
Yeah, exactly. So it's
Well, I saw Lauren Southern attacking Coach Red Pill a little while ago in a debate, so that makes sense now. I didn't fully understand why she was doing that.
he's like a dead meme, but I mean he was pretty popular in the space for a while. Like there was a time where like I think he had gone to like he rose pretty quickly to like 100,000 150,000 subs back when that meant something, like back when you could still grow organically on YouTube.
Yeah.
And then like I would watch his videos, and it was crazy because he had like 7 camera angles. They were like over, and he was just sitting there drinking his coffee, all dramatic, like you never stick your dick in crazy, drinking his coffee. He's like a gruff like dude who probably doesn't get laid at all,
Yeah, there's another guy with the cameras like that named Donovan Sharp, we call him. Donovan Sharp is his fake name. He has like 10 cameras he bought for like no particular reason, and they're always just switching. And it's like I get one or two, if you want to look pro, or maybe even 3, but like 7, and like it gets nuts. It's just this rampant narcissism. And
that's all it really, right. That's what it is. Yeah.
Yeah, I want to say too that like I love the Manosphere. I've been in it since 2005. I found it when I was a kid in high school, and it really helped change my life. And I built a whole business out of it. We built 21 Convention is basically like a TED Talks for men, kind of like an independent TED Talks.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna admit 100% that what you're saying is correct. That the Manosphere is a really positive place, but also this like toxic shithole that attracts like a lot of frauds, degenerates, like liars and thieves, and like it's a lot of men end up in it. They're exiting divorce, bad relationships, toxic relationships, marriages that go south, divorces, family court, whether it's MGTOW or men's rights or red pill or even the PUA stuff. And therefore it's like, it's a necessary thing. I've seen a lot of YouTubers say, Abba and Preach said this too, but then also it really attracts like real predation, and it just sucks. I've been fighting it tooth and nail for a couple of years now, trying to make it better. And it's like, it's a real, even Cernovich called the Manosphere the ghetto of the internet a couple years ago, and he's right. Like it's
probably not wrong. Yeah. I mean, there's there's that stuff where there's a lot of good there, but and there's a lot of attraction to it. But the janitorial stuff, I appreciate you doing that, because it's
man.
It's like the bigger these clowns get, the faker they are. Like these fresh and fit dudes, like bona fide clowns. And
they didn't start that way either. I met Myron, one of them, Fit, whatever, out of the two of them, a couple years ago. He came to my convention. He had a small channel, like 5,000 subs. It was about fitness at that point. And I didn't think he was a fraud at that point. I didn't really think he knew anything. And so I just kind of ignored. I was polite. I talked to him, and then he emailed me, and I just kind of ignored him because he wasn't hanging out with these mega frauds yet, and he wasn't like getting into the red pill stuff. That he clearly doesn't understand women. He clearly is like socially awkward and sucks. A lot of creepy Harvey Weinstein shit.
That's where I was. Yeah, like he treats women like garbage because he thinks that that's like the thing. And then like I get people emailing me about stuff he's done, and like stuff that I would really have to have some receipts to bring up, like women he's brought on the show. And I'm like, okay, well, I hear it from one person, and then I hear it from another, and then I hear it from another, and I'm like, this is a little too spicy for me. Like I don't really, I always reply and I'll say like, call the cops, like this, I meme on people. I'm not like an investigative service,
same. I did
But
one investigation last year, and people really loved it. It was called "The Truth About Donovan Sharp." It had like 100,000 views pretty quick, and it
oh, nice.
really exposed that Donovan guy. And it was a 3-hour documentary. Like I spent a week on this,
Sure.
and that was my first time really trying to investigate somebody, because the more I dug, the more I found. And I was like, oh, and so it was constantly like I would film, and then I'm like digging through all the stuff I have, and I'm like, oh shit, oh shit.
When are you gonna
And
do one on Rollo?
I've done a couple on him, but they were smaller
Yeah.
scale.
Yeah.
My first one, that was actually my first dabble at like investigating someone. That was 20 minutes though, and people
Mm.
complained that there wasn't enough receipts, so
Yeah.
it was too short. And then I made this 3-hour one. People loved it, but then like, oh, it's too long.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'm trying to
Yeah.
find
I
a sweet
find that.
spot.
Yeah,
Rolo
it's
too
weird.
is also, he's been hunting you for a while, by the way. He loves you. He follows a lot of your stuff.
I
He wants
know.
to use you to like distribute his toxic crap.
I
You and
know.
Razorfist is another guy he stalks like that on Twitter.
Yeah, he I know I'm not stupid. I'm not saying you're saying that. I'm saying like I
Yeah,
see he like DMs me. He's like, "Oh, I saw you into this Jack Murphy stuff. If you want to
yeah,
come on my show," I'm like, "Dude,
yeah. Dude, we'll be buddies, bro.
yeah, we'll be buddies. We'll be buddies, man. I can talk about my book."
Yeah,
Like, no, um, and like, oh my god, when he went on "You Are Here" with this like post rock ponytail and like talking about slaying chicks and stuff. I'm like,
yeah.
yeah,
Yep.
come on.
We actually have a big video on Rolo going out. It's supposed to go out this morning, but there's a copyright block on it. It was supposed to end after 48 hours, so I hit up YouTube and they actually got back to me.
Oh,
So
nice.
it should be out tomorrow morning.
Mm.
I'm excited to drop it. It's one of our best hit videos on Rolo we've ever dropped. And Rolo is the worst, by the way. Jack and Rolo are equal mega frauds, but Rolo has not been discovered yet and exposed at that level. That was what was so crazy about Jack blowing up, is he was like this mega fraud, and then you had all this evidence that like equaled the level of insane fraud going on.
Yeah,
Rolo's at
yeah.
that level, but he's way more clever. He's not stupid.
Yes, correct. Yeah, he's not stupid and he's been in the game for a long time.
Yeah.
I think the thing about Jack, you know, he has so many receipts. I mean, who would have thought that I think Nick Monroe bought the book, but there was like that book written by somebody who is like a principal or whatever at the charter school that like named him specifically
Oh yeah, I
and
found that on
accused
Amazon.
him of like
Yeah.
specific stuff, and I'm like, dang, like
Like
that's a
criminal
hard
shit.
receipt. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
And there was so much stuff that didn't add up. Like, there's excuse me, I don't like, and maybe it is the narcissism, but the people that think their viewers are dumb,
Yeah.
like, bro, one of these two things is true. Either you made millions of dollars fixing charter schools, or you had to do amateur porn on a campsite.
Yep.
Because when he came out, he's like, "Oh, we just didn't have any money coming in, and we just had to do it. We didn't have any other." Bro, just say that you're into it. You clearly are.
Yep.
And then like he probably would have lost a third as many. He would have lost some, especially people
Yeah.
like there's a lot of like very hardcore like Christian religious people. They would have been out for sure. But like
Yeah.
there's a lot of other people that probably would have stayed. But no, he's like, "Oh, I was just eating on a can of beans. I couldn't afford to live. But I was also a super powerful school district guy who made millions a year."
Yeah. I want to give an example too, by the way. Like a lot of people would not be like the hardcore Christian people would not be into Jack being bi or cucking and all this
Right.
stuff.
Yeah.
The cucking in particular is like really anti-masculine in a way. I don't know how you're going to swing that with the even general
Or peeing
population.
on your wife's face.
Peeing on your wife's face, exactly.
Yeah, like that.
Hook up the butt. But I want to
Yeah.
say too, there's another Jack in the Manosphere who's very legit. Jack Donovan. He's an author and kind of a philosopher. He writes books called The Way of Men, More Complete Beast, and they're really cool. I've known him for a long time, and he's actually bisexual, gay, but he's
Yeah.
open about it and he doesn't lie about it. He's never lied about it, and so everyone's known that from day one. So they don't mind him speaking not only in general but even on issues like masculinity, because he's not a fraud and he's not a liar. He doesn't cover it up. It's the
Yeah.
insane level of deception that Jack Murphy got into for years, and the all of it, just the hypocrisy of it. Peeing on your wife's face. Now he's into God. What does God think about you peeing on your wife's face? I wonder.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. That's actually a really good example. It's people think it is a narcissism thing. It's I'm smarter than everybody. I'm gonna craft my my persona, and then but the reality is people, if you have something good to say, people will ignore a lot of your baggage. You don't have to lie. You just don't have to. You don't have to
Yeah.
dye your beard like some kind of weirdo. You just have to
You know,
be
I
like a
asked him in
genuine person.
person about that beard thing several times. I'm like, "Is your beard natural like that, or you dye it?" Because I'm like, "This he has to dye this, right?" And
It's
he's like,
zinc,
"No."
right? I
Yeah,
think
oh,
it's zinc he
dude.
puts in there. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But he kept claiming it was real. I'm like, "Dude, like it really looks dyed. Like I'm 99% sure it's dyed. You sure it's not dyed?" He's like, "No, man, it's real." I'm like,
The
"Whatever, dude."
lines are too
Like,
clean. Like
yeah,
if I grow
yeah,
my beard out, I do have like on the sides here it's brown, but it's like a reverse Jack Murphy, but
yeah,
it's still not like gray. Like there's
yeah,
still like other regular colors in there. But yeah, I'd be interested to hear, I would be willing to bet that almost all of the members of the Criminal Order came from Tim Pool's
yeah,
viewership.
yeah,
Be interested to, hear what Tim had to say about that one day off the record, because I'm sure he's not happy. He'll never be back on that show.
yeah.
Never, 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 never. That's just
Good.
it. Yeah.
Someone was
That cut.
actually asking in the chat, "Are you still on the outs with timcast?" I don't know what that's about, but
Um,
anything you comment?
I don't. I mean, I'm not mad at him.
Okay.
I think what really happened was they brought me out, and like they said, "Hey, you want to come on the show?" For the second time, and then I was like, "Yeah, sure." But like, to be totally honest with you, for me to take a day off work, I lose a lot of money. For me to take like 2 days off work, which is what it takes to travel and school, it's really a lot of money. So look, if I do an appearance somewhere on site, it has to be worth it. Like it
Mhm.
has to be, it has to equal or be greater than that. And I'd already been on Tim's show. I already, kind of had that. We share such a huge percentage of the audience. I was just looking at it from a business perspective. So I said, okay, well, I'll come out, but I want to go on like 2 nights in a row, because I got to fly out there, drive for an hour, all this stuff. And the first night went great, and then the second night, I was probably a little too lax. I didn't know Tim took his his prep so seriously. So like I went on his ex-friend's podcast at like 5 o'clock, and I had no idea that this would have been an issue, because I was told by people in his house that it was totally fine. And then his show started at 6, and then so it was like 5:50, and I was going to head up there, and he was pissed that I wasn't there for like the pre-show. And then so he canceled the show. And then
Beanie Commander swinging hard, dude.
yeah, so then I
Banhammer.
said basically in not so many words, like, okay, fucking, I was like, okay, this is dumb, this is an emotional decision. He's like, well, I need to prepare, I'm like, dude, I do this for a living, I don't need to prepare. I know what's in the news, and I know what, what I mean. Like, it's not like I need to know the topics of that day's political news, because I already know it. And so I was like pissed that I flew all the way out there, and then he had like a little meltdown. But
And this is like New Jersey or something he lives in?
it's out west, yeah, in DC area.
Okay.
And then out west, yeah. East.
That's east of the country, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know where you live, but
Yeah. But and like, so, but I accept some blame there. Like, I should have, I guess, asked him directly. I think he was mad that I went on Adam's show, because Adam used to be on his show, and then there was some weirdness. I don't know the truth of what it is. I think he was mad about that, and then the fact that I showed up like 5 minutes before live time, he was double mad, I think.
you're still not late. Technically, you weren't late.
I wasn't late.
Yeah.
And
there was employees in his house that told you this is fine and go on the other guy's show?
Yes. Everyone,
Damn.
his assistant told me, or Lydia and all these people told me it was totally fine. He doesn't care. So I went on his show, and then like it was like 5:50, and I went outside for like a cigarette. I'm like, okay, I'll prepare for Tim's show. Go, just mentally clear it. Go out there.
Yeah.
And then he was like, we're not doing the show tonight. And then I think I was like, okay, like I don't know if he wanted me to like fight for it, but I was like, okay, see, it was Friday night. I was like, all right, peace. Like, I'll just go back to my hotel and leave tomorrow morning. and I'll just stream, which is what I did. But it wasn't like anything major, and I don't hold it against him. Maybe I just didn't take it seriously enough. But to me, it's just a podcast. Like I don't care. Like it's so I don't know. I don't think he was. I think he was mad that day. I don't think he's like holding a grudge or anything. We still talk occasionally. So
Okay.
anyway, long answer, but yes, I'm fine with Tim. I'm sure he doesn't give a crap about it either.
Okay. Yeah, it's good to get clarity on it. I wasn't aware of this, but I guess some of the fans were.
Well, yeah, and of course I hyped it up, because I did a live stream right away, and people were like, thought some major thing went on. Really, just I think he probably takes his show more seriously than I thought he did, and he was like, "I will just take the night off." Who knows? Maybe he was having a weird relationship issue that day or something. I mean, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying you never know what people. I worked retail for a long time, and like one of my early bosses that I actually respected. When I would get a customer that was rude to me or something like that, and I would get mad about it, they'd just say like, "Hey, you don't really know what they're going through when 5 minutes before they walked in the door here." So maybe he was going through some stuff. I don't know, and it just came out in that manner.
What store did you work at? I used to work retail too when I was young.
Office Max, Best Buy, Menards.
I was a Circuit City and Sears guy and H.H. Gregg.
Oh, nice.
Circuit City, dude.
Rest and pepperoni, Circuit City.
Yeah, I know. I loved it, man. Growing up, it was fun.
Yeah, well, they paid their sales guys commission too, which was I always wanted to work there in where I lived.
By the time I got there, they had shut that off. Some of the guys working there they had an hourly that was their old commission. Like it was huge, way more. It was like triple what I made or quadruple.
Oh, because they had to compensate for it.
Yeah,
they did. By the time I'm 38, but like my friend who's 41 worked at Circuit City. He got paid commission. I think they did cut it off like by the time because he was making. I mean, I bet back then, when this has been like mid 90s, he was probably making $60,000 a year.
Yeah,
selling PCs because they were new. It was like the Pentium 1 era.
Dude, the commission guys I worked with, they were making like some of them were $30-$40 an hour. Like we were making like $8 an hour as kids.
That's what I made. I made like $7.25. The only commission I got was if I sold a cell phone contract, or if I sold the extended warranties.
Yeah. I was a slayer, dude, in Circuit City. The warranties, all the old people love me, dude. 5-year warranty for $800, no problem.
Oh yeah, on an $1,100 computer.
Well, no, TVs mostly, but I did some computers too.
Oh yeah, I worked in computers, and I would be like, "Oh, you need a 3-year service," and people would buy it. Yeah, and it was like $200 or $300 at Office Max, and the computer was like $700, and they'd buy it.
Yeah,
but for me, like I think I only got 10%. I got like $30 or $40 if I sold it. Yep. But like that was a lot of money when you made $7 an hour. I was like, shoot, you sold 2-3 of those a weekend, and you're living life.
Yeah, we're killing it. Yeah, it was fun working there too, man. Goofy stuff growing up. We used to play GameCube and like Xbox till like 3 a.m. sometimes, like dodgeball. Nice. We destroyed this like huge TV once. Manager hit it with a dodgeball, just crashed. There's all kinds of stories you get from working retail like that, dude. Our GM one time, even this chick, she stole like a couple dozen iPods, and then she got busted.
Oh, nice.
They didn't prosecute. She didn't get arrested, but she had to resign. Like the CNN president just resigned.
Yeah,
she retired, immediately after 20 years. Yeah, all kinds of stupid shit like that.
Well, yeah, anyone who's worked retail knows that the overwhelming percentage of shrink or theft comes from employees. Like I had a key to the electronics. I was like 16, and I had a key to the locker room. Like I don't know who else had keys, but I know like big one for us was computer RAM.
Yeah,
I'd be like, oh, it says we have 7 of these sticks in stock, and I can find 1. And back then, RAM was expensive. It was like $250 a stick or $200 a stick. And I was like, oh, that's pocket sized. I wonder where that went.
Yeah. Taking a few steps back though to the Manosphere, I just want to say, man, like you did a huge service to our community when you destroyed Jack Murphy. I know you weren't the only one involved, obviously, but you were a major tipping point, I think, with getting it out to a big audience, which helped spiral it into this massive, PR storm that he deserved for grifting and, defrauding people so long from the truth. And I appreciate it. I know a lot of guys do as well.
I'm hey, it was fun. It's always, everyone loves exposing a fraud. Yeah. Everyone loves watching it. And
Everybody
you
with
know,
balls. I mean, some
yeah.
people really they don't want to ever touch this stuff, even when it's obvious. And it's like, man, someone's got to like step up and clean this shit up.
Well, that's
So,
in I mean, you have no problem with that, but inside
yeah,
of like our communities, like the concentric circles, we share similar viewers, and you know, there are a lot of people who like are popular that know Jack, that knew about all this stuff. Not only did they not say anything, but they never said anything, even when it came out, which to
yeah,
me is like, bro, like you've been retweeting this guy for years and
yep,
you didn't even address it. And there's several people, and you probably know what I'm talking about, but like,
yeah.
come on, man. Like this dude preyed on your audience. Say something. Like, I'm not saying you got to put out a 2-hour video, but acknowledge that,
Cernovich should have said something. The fact they didn't does not bode well for him. I don't think he said
he
anything about it.
he never said a thing. Posobiec never said a thing. Tim
Yep,
never said a thing.
yep,
All these guys have propped him up since the beginning. And
yep.
like that kind of blackpilled me a little bit on like internet friends kind of thing.
I've met
Like,
these guys too, Posobiec and
yeah, I
and
have
Cernovich
two.
and stuff. Yeah,
And they're all nice. They're all nice people in person.
yep,
And but like I lost a lot of respect for like Jack in particular, who's hoisted him up, and Tim a lot.
yeah.
Like, bro, he's on your show every other week, and he's like grifting his stuff to your viewers, and you refuse to even just acknowledge. Just say you fired him. You don't even have to say why.
Not even a tweet, man. Not even a tweet. Never
Nothing.
mind a video. Nothing. Yeah, I did a
Yeah,
video calling him out for this. I kind of went over the top of it. I kind of pushed
good.
it.
Yeah,
They
I
actually
saw that video.
monetized it.
Yeah,
They
I saw
reviewed
that
it.
video. Yeah,
Thanks. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah.
That was really depressing to me. I mean, I had a feeling that Cerno and Jack wouldn't say anything, but like Tim, come on, he's a regular
Yeah,
on your show. Look at your chat. His
yeah.
live chat was like
For
killing
weeks.
him for weeks, and he never said
Yeah.
a thing about it. And I was
Yep.
like, Timmy, I know you don't like drama, but bro, this is your guy. This
Yeah.
guy is grifting off your audience, and you didn't. All you had to say is like, all right, I know about the Jack stuff. He's never coming back on the show. That's all I'm going to say about it. And that's it. Like
Yeah.
he didn't have to say, "Well, look at this guy peeing on his wife's face." He didn't have to talk about any of that stuff. He could have just said, "Yeah, he's not back on."
It was apex level stuff, man. Apex level.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, definitely. Yeah,
Yep.
it's real Apex level Sigma stuff.
I think I know you said you got blackpilled by it. I know what you mean. Like these guys, these men have huge followings, Cernovich, Posobiec in particular, and Tim Pool.
Mhm.
And they're each is a different personality and a little bit different audience. But like there's men and women who look up to these people as like leaders and content creators and like almost like champions in this culture war. And when push
Mhm.
comes to shove, they say nothing.
They close
And
ranks.
they
Yeah, it's
play
pathetic.
even when
Yeah.
they know, even when it's obvious, even when there's proof, even when it's in their own space, and it caused harm in some way, financially or whatever, to their own fans, and they said nothing. And yeah, it's fucking it's pathetic, man. I hate it.
Yeah, there's a lot of these guys too that are yeah, I mean, and like it's frustrating. You don't have to be like mean about it, but like you said,
Yeah.
I
You can
know
be.
I guarantee you can. I was, but like I guarantee you there were members of my audience that
Yeah,
were in the liminal order. And
same.
like, and like because they emailed me and they're like they're almost like embarrassed by it, and they're like, but allegedly they were actually doing some good things, not in spite of Jack, pretty much,
Yeah.
to help each other out and stuff like that. And you know and I don't know if you caught this. I've revealed it a few times, like casually on podcasts, but like who sent me the spicy stuff?
I was gonna ask. I didn't know, and I didn't know if you wanted to
It
share, but
was
go for it.
sure. It was one of it was a consumer of it.
Wow.
So
Wow.
they enjoyed his videos, but then the hypocrisy is why, then they send it to me.
I mean, that stuff was so serious. I didn't know where you got it from, but I was like, dude, is there some like government agent dumping this blackmail all of a sudden that they had on Jack? Because that was a theory on 4chan, obviously,
Yeah.
understandably, given what happened.
Well, a
But
lot
that
of
stuff's
people talk.
serious. Like that's career ending stuff.
It was. Yeah, that
Yeah.
was he was able to like he would have survived the cuck meltdown,
Yeah.
and he would have stayed on Tim's show, which was his pipeline of customers.
Yep.
That was it. The videos, that was it. And then the old audio clip of him on that podcast just being like a total degenerate. Like,
Yeah. How about the little
that
boys? There's some audio of the porn stuff too, like the little boys and shit. They're tight
Yeah.
little assholes. It's like, oh
Yeah.
my god.
I know. And you don't just say that stuff. You know,
Yeah.
like at least not in like context matters.
Yeah.
And he's like grifting gay men in that like in that scenario. And like, yeah, ooh, college boys right in their tight little assholes. Like, Jesus, dude. Like
I never found
there's
any.
no coming back from that.
Yeah. I never saw any pedo stuff out of it. I was worried that would come
either.
up. But a lot of it was really flirting with that line, like the little boys and even, I fuck little girls and shit, he said.
The
Like,
little
it's like,
girls thing was really bad. And I know, like, I think even when I covered it, I was like, I made sure, like, I'm going to look at this as good faith as I can and say it's creepy. But there were people that were like, took it, in bad faith and was like, oh, he's definitely a pedo. I didn't really see that as a pedo thing, but it was also like the rest of the article was enough. I didn't need to focus on that little thing,
Yeah, I was confused by that at first, but then I found out it was like a BDSM thing where the girls dress up and shit. That makes more sense. I don't think Jack's a pedo.
No, I don't either. Yeah.
Until I see evidence of that, I don't suspect that or believe that. He's really obviously super weird, but I don't think that.
Yeah, he's just a kinky dude. And again, as you mentioned earlier, would have been fine. Would have been fine. He might have lost some people, and Tim wouldn't have kicked. The most important blow to him was Tim kicking him off the show because he will never regain any of those people. Or he won't regain that pipeline. No one's going to platform him now. But if he's smart, and I think he finally figured it out, like, stop fighting it. You have 35 or 300 people that are paying you still $100 a month to shut up. Just shut up and get back to work and preserve them as long as you can, which is what it seems like he's doing now.
So I think there's a long-term, like a long tail, if you're familiar with that effect of this, that we're going to see with Jack. So then when I went after Donovan Sharp, he had this guy, the fraud I was talking about, Conovan. He had 1,200 or so, like 1,100 and change, almost 1,200 Patreon subscribers, paying him anywhere from $5 to like 50 a month. Most are probably $5, right?
Yeah. 80% of them. Yeah.
Initially there was a big drop off and he lost some subscribers on his channel, obviously. And there was a lot of pushback. The Black Manosphere in particular, there's like a subgroup in the Manosphere, like the Black Manosphere. It's all these black guys.
Yeah.
And they went after him really hard. They loved it. There's super high drama. I loved it too. I was like, these guys are great.
Yeah.
Now, what ended up happening is he lost pretty fast, maybe like 200 Patreon subscribers. It took another year until now he's down to like 550. So, and this number, as you know, Patreon and like kind of like YouTube, it normally just kind of goes up over time. To have any kind of, if it flatlines, that's understandable. Maybe you're not producing content that people want or something, but for it to tank in half like that, and a lot of that was slow. It was over time. We kept putting out more videos and more memes and stuff, and it's demolished that aspect of his business, which is a major way he made money. So we cut that in half just by exposing the truth.
Well, the yeah, you're right. And also it's like the way the other way the long tail works is like every tweet that they put out, there will be someone who's like, forever, someone will post his like every tweet. And by the way, it's not just a Jack thing, but it's everybody who gets exposed like this. Like if you pull up Jack's Twitter again, like he's tweeting again, but every single time there's several people that are like, is it bro, this you? Bro, this you? Bro, this you? Like,
yeah, because the Spurs are after him now. They're never going to let it go ever.
They're never, ever. Like if you follow internet culture, there are guys like DSP and Wings of Redemption. These are guys that are like internet lol cows who stream to like 200 people because their careers are dead. But like 150 of them are Spurgs who hate them. There are channels that meme on them that are bigger than their own channels. And like once they have you, and then it's over. Like they're just gonna always be on you.
Yeah, little pipples. I love it. Yeah, you don't want the whole internet coming after you like that. But I just want to say one more time, man, big shout out to you, big kudos. Like you put your balls online to do this, and you had some pushback from that. You got temporary banned on Twitter. And that can happen to everyone. I do all these memes and I'm really aggressive sometimes with going after these guys, but I know it's not risk free. And the YouTube monetization thing that could be related to Jack, could not be. Some people theorize that. And I think it's likely given YouTube modifying the results, but we don't really know and we never will. But you got temp banned on Twitter. That could happen on YouTube, all kinds of stuff. And you still did it anyway.
Well, there were people behind the scenes too. Like I had, people threatening me, all sorts of stuff. And sending me emails like, leave Jack alone if you know it's good for you. And then pictures of my wife. Like,
wow.
I don't publicize this stuff because that's what they want. And I'm not afraid of some pussy who's going to send that email. Like, bro, I mean, I'm not telling you to show up at my house, but I'm telling you really don't want to. And like, I live in a castle doctrine state, and
same.
Like, yeah. So I really don't think you want to play this game, but
I keep the shotgun literally right here.
Yeah, I have several throughout the house. I have them magnetically mounted on walls. Like,
nice.
Yeah. So like,
I didn't know you were a gun guy. That's awesome.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Oh great. Fuck yeah. Is that an AR or something?
It's an AK. AK-47. Yeah.
Yeah, nice. I got a short barrel AK.
Oh, nice. Yeah. But that's my. Oh, I heard something upstairs. I need to just put a huge hole in the floor, and
Yeah.
So yeah, is without risk. But the bigger risk to me is that like I noticed that a lot of guys that were close to him don't retweet me anymore. Pussies.
Yeah.
And like that is an actual cost of it. You burn bridges.
Yep.
They close. There's a group of like conservative Inc. guys that like close ranks. Like they all protect Cerno. Yep. And the thing about Cernovich is like I don't even care. I don't care that if he did blow off a trans woman's ass. I don't care. But the fact that he like if anyone brings it up, he blocks them and he spurgs out and he like, dude, like that's weak tit. I don't like that. On
the plus side, though, I think what happened to Jack, and which you're in large part responsible for, it's really put a lot of these frauds on edge. They're really kind of freaked out. I don't know about Cernovich, maybe, but particularly Rollo and Conovan, this guy, a lot of the Manosphere grifters, Jack was still very much a Manosphere guy. I saw even a video recently, like November, he was claiming the Manosphere is the reason the Virginia's governor's race went the way it did, and the guy won. And I don't even know if I agree with that, but he was saying it. Yeah, I know. But, this is coming from Jack, who, a year or two ago was saying the Manosphere is dead. So it's constant flip-flopping, kind of crap. But anyway, Jack was a Manosphere fraud, even if he was also mega fraud in Conservative Inc. And there's a lot of Manosphere frauds who are kind of freaked out because they know that they're next. It's going to take just enough evidence and just enough guys like you or whoever and me and whatever to meme them and expose them. And before you know it, it's viral and then they're just demolished. And these guys, some of them are dangerously close and they hate it because I'm relentless with it too, man. I just don't stop. People are like, oh, you need to stop being drama. I'm like, I don't care. Like, this is real conflict.
Right. That's like everyone who comes on my channel and says, oh, stop uploading videos about Jack. And it's by far the most viewed video I had.
You're just clout chasing, bro. You're just clout chasing.
Yeah.
You're clout chasing someone smaller than you, right? That makes perfect sense.
Yeah. Right. That's what they said about me interviewing that girl from G4 TV too. And it's like the people be like, oh, anything but a Jack video. And I'll upload a Jack video and get like 300,000 views. And then I upload some breaking news videos and get 70,000 views. Like, no, I know what people like. People love it. I love it. I watched like every video on it. Like it was so hilarious to me.
Yeah. Yep.
It was like it was do you remember it was on less of a scale, but do you remember the hilarity of the Hindu thing, the He Will Not Divide Us thing?
Oh, with the actor
LaBeouf,
Shia LaBeouf, they tracked down his
4chan,
yeah.
I remember like I was like totally every video about it I would watch, and it was the most hilarious thing ever. It reminded me of that, where it was like, man, everybody just crushing this guy. It was just so hilarious to me. And then him, we need a war room now. I need some people who are willing to dig up some stuff. Then he realized that there were moles, and he's like, and then it disappeared. Like, yeah, go ahead, post more incriminating information in your Fed-backed chat, your CIA-backed Wicker chat.
So before we get going any further, you got to go in a little bit. I did want to talk about video games and the Manosphere.
Yeah.
Particularly also video games and kind of woke culture. Like when I first found your channel, actually, it was because I was looking at one of my favorite games ever, The Last of Us,
Yeah.
and then also, of course, yeah, I love it. And then The Last of Us 2, and you had one of the first videos I saw, and I think it's how I found your channel actually.
Yeah.
And what's funny is I thought you were just a video game channel. Like I didn't realize you did much wider commentary and reporting and stuff.
Mhm.
But I do want to talk about like the manosphere is aware that video games, like Hollywood, like movies, like the media, is infiltrated by woke stuff and it's being destroyed, and particularly the movies, like really obvious. But
Mhm.
video games are also, so there's an awareness of this in our community, but there's also a lot of hostility to like anybody playing games at all. It's always,
Yeah.
especially the trad guys, they just mock it constantly,
Mhm.
and it's like to me, it's like catnip for conservatives and these guys who are like the want to be hyper masculine.
Yeah.
But
Video games, man. Go outside and chop some wood.
yeah,
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, it's just dumb. I've never agreed with it. I'm one of the only guys in our community that's ever said anything about it. I'll post like a Zelda game I get or something, and people like
These
make fun
dudes,
of me. Yeah,
these dudes, by the way, who are saying that they're playing like Candy Crush on their phone. I
yeah, yeah.
guarantee it. I guarantee it. Like, and I know these dudes that are like, man, just read some ancient philosophy instead of playing video games. Yeah, right. You're sitting
take
at home
take
watching
an
like
ice bath.
right. You're watching housewives stuff or garbage trash TV. Come
Yep.
on. Like yeah, it is disappointing that like tradcon guys are weird about video games because I think that's just stupid. It's like the same people like I hate NFTs, but I'm not so stupid to like not know that this is going to be a huge space and I need to understand it and like so
Yeah,
like if you don't like video games, that's fine. But if you're like actively trying to like disparage them, that's stupid
yeah,
too because it's an important tool like you mentioned for like in the culture war
yeah,
that you know it all plays into a lot of the tropes that I talk about is like there's this huge push to emasculate men
yeah,
in every way. Like they told us for years that guys drinking soy was good and that women didn't like guys who were fit and they tried to sell us the dad bod.
yep,
Guys with
yep.
pot bellies are the hottest thing around.
It's
This is
cute. It's
all
cute, man. Be fat. Yeah,
yeah, like these are all like I don't go super tin foil, but in my opinion, much of this is part of a bigger push to like emasculate men, remove like look at our own military. Look at
yeah,
our military ads versus China's. China's have like a bunch of Chad Chinese guys blowing up stuff and
yep,
fighter jets, and our guys are like, "Ooh, I'm a member of the LGBTQ community," and
yep.
yeah, like, bro, who do you want defending your country? Like, the Rock goes all the way to the top. It's in the schools. It's why there's this thing. There is no toxic masculinity. There is only masculinity, and it's very prevalent in the video game community that these beta male and man hating women end up in positions, and I think they get off on it. I think they get
Yeah,
off on like there is somebody at Last of Us 2. It's like subversion. They're like, oh yeah, everyone loves Joel. Let's have an obvious like dude chick dude kill him because that'll piss everyone off. Like that's how they think. They
it
don't
wasn't
think like
even just
let's
that though. Like I really tried to play it, even though I knew it was going to be terrible because I hate
Mhm.
all this wood crap.
Yeah.
And The Last of Us One had almost zero of that, right?
Mhm.
Very
Yeah.
maybe like Bill being gay that seemed kind of shoehorned, but that was very minimal. And
There's
it
always
didn't
some
ruin
of
the
that, and
game.
that never bothers me. Like when it's
Yeah,
like,
same.
okay, here's a token character, fine, whatever. Like
Yeah,
yeah.
exactly. But the way they even characterized Joel before he dies, I didn't even get that far. I played the opening and I just fucking shut it down.
They
And I
destroyed
still,
him.
yeah, he was like
They
a
destroyed
complete
him.
shell before himself.
Well, look what
And
they
it,
did to Luke Skywalker in Star
same.
Wars.
Yep.
Th- Oh, all the men love Luke. Let's turn him into a huge coward. Like
Yep.
on what planet and what world? Oh, that else. In what reality would Luke Skywalker turn into that loser? One where people want to subvert and like, oh, this is oh, millions of young boys looked up to this guy. Let's make him drink titty milk. Like,
Yeah.
there's, in my mind, I'm sure not every case is like this, but I could absolutely see somebody being like, like, let's destroy these male role models. Let's show men that these guys are really just not as cool as they thought they were. And you just see it everywhere.
So you don't think it's necessarily a conspiracy, but it is an interconnected, is what you're saying, and intentional.
Yes, I believe it is absolutely intentional. I
Yeah.
don't go so far as to say like, oh, there's somebody at the top like puppet mastering.
Yeah.
Some people do, and I don't have information to the contrary, so I just let it ride.
Yeah.
But I've interacted with enough of these people who are in charge of things at Marvel, who are in charge of things at Disney, that talk like this. You know what I mean? Like, it's not me just saying this is a feeling. This is me interacting with these weirdos for the past 5-10 years, covering these people, and this is how they talk.
Yeah.
You know, like, oh, we're gonna take this comic book and we're gonna have a fat character, and then we're gonna have we're gonna own the chuds, and we're gonna have a character named Snowflake in Safe Space, like literally. And they got destroyed. Like the book never even came out. But
Well,
whoever wrote that, that was deliberate. That was deliberately.
Is it true that Superman was recently butt poked in prison? Did I understand that
Yes,
correctly?
that's correct. Yeah.
That's that's really crazy. Like,
Superman. Like, are you kidding me? And also they turned the new Superman. It's not Clark Kent, it's his son, but hey, he's gay. Buy our comic book. Like,
wow.
that stuff is so lazy. It's offensive to me.
Yeah.
It's not the fact that he's gay. It's just like, Jesus, do you think we're that dumb? And they, so yeah, I think that, and in video games too, like, I think that 99% of the people that work at these video game companies love making video games. They love the game they're making, right? Then they have like 2 or 3 people at top. We see this because the positions, it's a brand new position that didn't exist 10 years ago. These GDI positions, right? Gender diversity and inclusion positions.
Diversity executive officer. Yeah.
DEI. Yeah. Or DEO or whatever. Yeah. All these big companies, now they have these people.
Yeah.
And it's their job to look at this final product and be like, well, you don't have, and then I think what makes it look shoehorned is then they go back and like, oh crap, I have to make, we got to make this character gay now, or we got to make this character, less toxic, or this, and like, there are people that get off on ruining masculinity. This is undeniable, but also, I do think most like grunts who work at these companies, because I talk to them, like when I rip on Blizzard or I rip on Electronic Arts or whatever, their employees email me and they're like, bro, I like your videos, but come on, man. I'm just a coder. I just, I don't make these decisions to kill Joel. That's like made by Neil Druckmann exclusively. Like, there isn't anybody else at that company that's like, doing that to
There's even employees that protested, right? They left, they resigned over that.
So I mean, like, I get it, but like, I think it's a natural progression when these people, when with success comes this like lean to the woke. We see it with Ethan Klein, right? He made a bunch of money. Now he's like a woke idiot. And the worst part about it,
it's a YouTuber.
Yeah, H3 Productions.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Yeah, like he grew up on edgy humor, and then now he's putting out tweets like, "Oh, I interviewed Jordan Peterson, made all the money from it, millions of views, but he's a gateway to the alt-right." Can you believe somebody said gateway to the alt-right in 2022? Well, Ethan Klein did, and he's like got 2 million Twitter followers. Like, he's a gateway to the alt-right, so I'm going to delete this video I did 2 years ago, and then pause for applause. Once people get money, they all move to the same place. They all talk to the same people. They no longer have to worry about putting out great products because they just have to be a part of that marketing machine where, oh, this is a stunning and brave situation now because, Abby, even if you think that they were trying to hint at her being trans, or if you play the game, she's not trans, but like the fact that she's like
super jacked, right?
Yeah, she's ambiguous. Like, she's sexually ambiguous. Like, There are
Yeah.
angles you're like, this is a dude. And like, by the way, where are you getting roids in a post-apocalyptic world for a woman to maintain that kind of body mass?
Yeah.
Like, but I mean,
What is it? 30 years in a post-apocalypse, right? 30 years
yeah,
later. Not a year
where's
later, 30.
30? Yeah, where's she getting her andro? You know, like
Yep.
where's she getting her muscle milk? Like a woman to pack on that much body mass. So like, I know it's just a video game. Fine, they're zombies, you know, but like, that kind of stuff is on purpose. Definitely.
Let's pause though, because it's not just, video games and whatever, it's entertainment and stuff. It's more than that, because in my view, it's art, and there's hundreds of millions of dollars just in like one franchise, like The Last of Us. Never
Yeah.
mind the companies backing it, like Sony that own it and Naughty Dog or whatever. It's like this is a serious thing that involves a lot of money and influence for what people are going to be inspired by and what they're going to aspire to, maybe even if it's a video game, right? Joel was a character who was very masculine in a like traditional way in game one. Is really well done. And then he gets killed by trans Abby steroid chick, and he's
they also
emasculated and he's a
destroy.
loser.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the important part. Is
Yeah.
that he didn't die like heroically either.
Yeah.
They emasculated him. They destroyed his legacy. That was on purpose.
Yeah.
And like,
It felt vicious just reading about it.
yeah, and by the way, it's also going to be an HBO show. And you know what I'd be willing to bet? I'd be willing to bet that Joel's back to that traditional masculine role. I just have this weird feeling that
Yeah.
like Justin, you expect it to be like woke trash. Joel's gonna be good again, and he's gonna be strong and yes, they'll have like the woman with the side shaved cut hair and like whatever, but like when you want to appeal to the masses don't like that crap.
Yeah.
Women like strong men like strong men like beautiful women like beautiful women. This is like a marketing. My background's in marketing. This is a actual fact of marketing.
Yeah.
Like beautiful people and average people and ugly people all prefer to watch and look at beautiful people.
Yeah.
Period. And so it's like when you see commercials on TV and it's like, oh, here's a fat dude wearing some underwear. I'm a fat dude. I buy underwear. I don't want to see it. Like, it's not selling underwear to me. So who's that for? It's like, or Gillette running commercials. Remember that? Like, Gillette. Like, there was this commercial that everyone memed on. It was like a year ago. It's
Toxic masculinity stuff, right?
Yeah, they had the one where like the two guys are like outside of a barber shop, a white guy and a black guy, and like a woman walks by and the guy's like, hey, what's up, chickie? And the guy's like, bro.
Yeah.
Like, what the? First of all, that never would have happened. And second of all, this whole cat call culture, like, I remember when they were pushing that too, like, oh, it's just so difficult being a woman. All these men are just complimenting me. All like, get out of here. Like, you love it. You love it.
Before we wrap up, it's getting almost an hour now. I do want to get your take on free speech. You've been pretty outspoken about this, even recently with this YouTuber going down with 2 million subscribers. I forget the name, AXR or something.
MXR. Plays, yeah.
But you've been speaking out, I think, about free speech for a while, using your platforms and using your channel, which I appreciate big time. I try to do the same using my little Twitter and my YouTube channel, which is quite a bit bigger. But it's dark times. So what are your thoughts on free speech? Like, for example, should YouTube take like a Gab approach? Is that your view on free speech with YouTube? And can you expand on it?
Sure. YouTube cannot take a Gab approach because of the system that they're built upon. They can't re-go back, and it's just not possible. It's a dinosaur platform. The future is like in crypto and off-platform funding that Gab will be able to do. I don't like Torba at all, but his product is still the best in terms of free speech. The issue, the obstacle to free speech on the internet is one that is often misunderstood by free speech absolutists who are always like, well, I went on your platform and I couldn't say the N-word, so it's not free speech.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, okay, but the problem is you can start a website, but if you let people go and talk all this crazy stuff on it, your web host is going to shut you down. Got your own hosting? Well, then we saw GoDaddy retract people's domain names. There's just too many corporations that own too much of it for any real free speech utopia to exist. However, you can get pretty dang close, and you can have clear rules and you can enforce them equally, which is, like, I think this is, if I could give any advice to these like new social media companies that are coming up and they continue to get it wrong, like Parler keeps calling itself a free speech platform. It's not. It can't be. It cannot be. But what they should be saying is, we have a very clear set of rules. Here they are, and we enforce them regardless of the side of the aisle you're on. And that would be literally all I want. Like, okay, I can't say the N word on your platform. I'll live. But like, what I don't like is I say something and somebody else says something and they're a leftist and they don't get in trouble and I get banned. Like, that's all I think people really want. There is a small subset of people that are like, I want to be able to say whatever I want on your platform. And I used to get annoyed by them, but I actually think they just don't understand how it works. Like, you have to pay for internet. And you know what'll happen? The New York Times will write some article like they did with 4chan and like they did with Gab. They'll write some article and they say, well, look where they're hosted. And then like, remember, they did that to Parler. Microsoft Azure I think they were on Azure. And like, and then so their hosting company just said, meh, you're gone.
InfoWars almost went down when Alex Jones got banned years ago. They're going after his domain even. He eventually got through it, but barely.
Yeah, right. I think it's it's even like band.tv now too, right? Or no, that's somebody else.
Band.video. He owns that, I think.
Yeah. But like, right. So it's like, okay, you just don't understand the way that the system is built. And then you could say, well, we need a new internet. Like Styx talks about that. Like, we need an internet 2 or I don't know what that even looks like. But in the reality is, I think the 75 people that are angry that they can't like spam the N-word, they can just fuck off. Like, it's just not going to happen. But I think that we could get a lot closer than what we are. YouTube will never be there. YouTube, because of the way that they're funded through advertising dollars exclusively. And most years, YouTube loses money. All YouTube is, so like, here's some like, it's semi-technical, but I think most people will easily be able to understand it. Do you know why Android has phones? It's to serve Google ads. That is the only reason Google got into cell phones. The reason Google owns YouTube is to serve Google ads. And so they buy platforms so that they can serve ads. They don't care about YouTube. They don't care about cell phones. They care about more avenues to serve their ads. And if you in like, their advertisers are everything. So like, YouTube is incapable of standing for free speech. Even Spotify, I believe, will eventually fold. And I think that like, they will eventually get rid of Joe Rogan, or they won't renew his contract or something.
Damn.
And the only reason they can't is he's got 15 million people that followed him there that are paying $10 a month.
Yeah.
And they will just follow him somewhere else. So like, they have to decide, like, they could literally implode if they fold. I'm surprised they've lasted as long as they have. But if Joe Rogan keeps talking about the coof, they're going to continue to get pressure, and they'll eventually fold. Because
what do you think about companies like Rumble? Do you think they're heading in the right direction with this stuff?
Rumble's going to be publicly traded. What does that tell you?
Yeah, they just got funding too from Peter Thiel, who generally I like, but I don't know.
Yeah, but they're going to be aren't they going to be they're going to be publicly traded, aren't they? On the NASDAQ?
I'm not sure. I know they're moving the headquarters to Florida. They're in the process of that, out of Canada, which is good. But yeah, I don't know. I know the owner too, the founder, Chris Pavlovsky or something.
Yeah,
I think he owns most of it.
Yeah, I think that they are on the NASDAQ.
Like, they do have hate speech rules, for example, they added, I think, recently.
Yeah,
but I don't
does.
think that, to be on the app stores, they'll just kick you off if you don't. But I wonder if they just added that to kind of like play along, and then they can enforce it mildly or fairly or equally and just not really do much with it.
I think that their enforcement thus far has been fine. Like, you can look at like Parler, the whole like Nick Fuentes thing. I don't care for Nick, but the fact that they like pre-banned him was a bad look.
Oh, you mean Getter?
I'm sorry, Getter. Correct. Yeah, Getter.
Yep.
And Getter is also sus, very sus. It's promoted by Conservative Inc. Suddenly, everyone like Jack and Mike and Candace Owens get on Getter all on the same day, on the within minutes of it. What a coincidence! Like, I don't believe, and that's why, like, you know, making friends in the space isn't important to me, because you just can't call this stuff out. If you know, like, I'm not saying Jack is on the payroll. I'm just saying Jack's probably on the payroll. You know, like there's something, you know, it's astroturfed. Why did Candace Owens promote Getter? It's absolutely not a free speech platform. And then they're all calling it that. Jack, Mike, Candace Owens.
Well, even Tim Pool walked all over their CEO. He went on his show recently.
And Tim's a baby, like Tim's a teddy bear. And he killed him. Like, and that was I was really proud of Tim there. Like, I was like, thank you. Like, Getter is not, but here's the thing. If they would just never have called themselves a free speech platform and just called themselves an alternative to Twitter, nobody would have cared. But when you say you're free speech, then everyone's going to come in with their little ice picks and poke holes all over your ship, and they're going to, and people are going to hate you. And then you'll find out, oh, you don't let this guy on, you don't let that guy on. I can't say this word, I can't say that word. But what about free speech? And it's a total unforced error. Just don't call yourself free speech. Call yourself, you know, a fair platform that isn't Twitter. Like, my interactions on Getter are triple what they are on Twitter, and I have half a fourth as many followers. That's what it's like to not be shadow banned.
Yep.
Like,
people say that about my account. When I tweet, they can't even find my tweets. They have to
I hardly ever see them. Yeah. And then like, I remember when Parler blew up overnight. I think I had like 180,000 followers on there overnight. That's more than I've built on Twitter in 10 years. And then I would like tweet something out and it would get like 4,000 likes. I'm like, oh my God, like my viewers can actually see what so like, if people understood what people actually want on these platforms, instead of grifting off Conservative Inc. and grifting for Free Speech Inc., they would succeed. So anyway, YouTube is lost. No true free speech can really exist in this space. I think that it has to, for us to have a viable alternative, I guess is my position, if that makes sense.
Do you have any opinions on Trump's new platform coming out, Truth Social?
It's horrible. It'll be horrible. Yeah.
Damn.
It has hate speech rules. It has all the same corporate bull, and like, you know, and like,
they're trying to make it family friendly, I think is the terminology they're using. I've never seen that before.
Yeah, it's supposed to be family friendly. So what is it for? It's for his 18 million, 19 million hardcore base who will join it. I'll be on there. Of course I'll be on there. I'm on Getter, I'm on Gab, I'm everywhere, because I'm just trying to get the message out. I don't care about Getter's hypocrisy. I care about reaching their users. And then when they watch my videos and I talk about it, then they'll know. Like this. Do
you have a tool that's posting to all these platforms for you? Because you're really good at posting everywhere.
It's me.
Oh, it's you personally doing it. Okay.
Yeah, it's nice. There are softwares like Hootsuite and like Sprinkler stuff, but they don't work with Gab and Parler and stuff. So what I do is I write the tweet, copy it, and then I have a separate tab open on a different monitor where Gab and Parler are, or Getter and stuff. And so I copy, paste. And then, and then some of them, like Minds, will port your tweets and stuff like that. So
Gab used to do that, but I stopped doing it a while ago. I don't know why.
Yeah, I think there was an API thing between Twitter where they were probably just like, no, you have like people that say the N-word on your platform, so we're not gonna give you access. I'm assuming that's what it was. But like, I have zero faith in Trump's platform, but if Trump's on it and he's active, it will be bigger than Getter, Parler, and Gab ever were. Yep. All he has to do is use the damn thing. Like, I think people told me that this Kirshner guy, when he got suspended off Twitter, he could have changed the game forever by joining Gab or Parler or whatever. But they told him not to.
His son-in-law, told him not to. Yeah.
Yeah. So like, is that Jared Kushner? Is that
Yeah,
who?
that's his
Yeah,
son-in-law. Yep.
yeah. Why? Idiot. Idiot. He had how many million followers on Twitter? Like 40
90.
million? 90
90.
million.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
90.
So like, and first of all, he would have brought all of his fans plus all of his haters. And he
Yeah.
would have made Gab or Parler or whoever immediately a legitimate competitor for Twitter, like overnight.
I
And
think the reason he didn't is because he wanted to launch his own, and I think
I
they
know,
already were planning that. Yeah.
but it's been 2 years. Like
Yeah.
he could have, he could just move when he, you know what I mean? Like, all his yeah, I could understand from a business perspective why you wouldn't do it, but then you're making a business decision over, wanting to reach your voters, which is not, is not smart. But I understand from a business perspective, but Truth Social, I mean, any competitor is good. But Trump does have a base of like that will probably want family friendly, no porn. Even people say that about Getter, I think. They're like, oh, I can't post porn. No, that's Gab. I
Oh,
can't
yeah.
post porn there. Like, there's a million sites for porn. Like, I
Including
don't care
Twitter.
about,
You can
including
post it on
Twitter.
Twitter. Yeah.
Yeah. But I don't care about that. Like, this is the problem when you try to appeal to, like, when you call yourself free speech platform. Like, there's plenty of places for porn. You can go on Jack Murphy's, get page or whatever. But like, and there's plenty of places to go spout the N-word if that's what you want. But there are very few places where people can have an unshadow banned like interaction talking about political issues or important issues. There's literally zero.
You know
Gab's
what?
close.
Actually, I want to recommend to you, man, something before we wrap up the show.
Yeah.
I think, in my opinion, some of my friends know this too with smaller channels, the YouTube community post feature on that they added a couple years ago, I think that's mostly unthrottled, unshadow banned kind of stuff. They leave it alone, probably because they
That's
don't have any ads on it. The engagement gets huge, like crazy.
That's actually
And
that's a really good point. You're 100% right about that. I agree with
yep,
you because I see like I don't use it, but I see like my fellow YouTubers who have like maybe like 80, 70 or 80,000 subscribers and they do a community post and they'll get like 5,000 likes on it. And I'm
yep.
like, whoa, like
Dude, I can post a tweet. It'll get 5 likes on my Twitter with 11,000 people. I can
yeah.
screenshot it, dump it on the community post. Literally 30 seconds later, gets 5,000 likes in a day. In a day. Now, the
Yeah.
follower count is not equal, but like it's insane. So I love it.
It's fun. That's a very valid tip. And I forget about that a lot, but you're right. The community
There's
posts.
stories too, man. YouTube's got stories when you got a big channel. It's limited to 10,000 minimum subscribers right now, but the stories feature works good too.
Well, and if you do, the thing with stories is if you use YouTube mobile, it takes up a ton of landscape on your homepage. Like
Yep.
I see the stories thing, like it shows me like one row of videos and then it's stories every time.
Yep.
And it's like the same 3 people who are actually utilizing it. So yeah, good point. Good point. Yeah, those are actually good tips. I appreciate that. Not that I didn't expect good tips from you, but
Yeah, thanks.
yeah, that's good.
Yeah, I'm still mostly on YouTube, unfortunately. Like we're set up everywhere. Odyssey, BitChute, Rumble recently, which is they've been actually really helpful for sport. Odyssey too. BitChute was the most like slow with stuff.
BitChute's hard. They've got like 2 guys,
Yeah.
But you're right. Rumble is very good. That their CEO is responsive, and
Yeah.
honestly, so is Odyssey. Yeah.
Yep. But still, my company's mostly on YouTube by a mile. So I'm trying to get off of that because now it was a real reality check when YouTube took like $11,000 from me and kicked us out of the partner program with no warning.
Yeah.
You always know that could happen, but you always think you're going to get a strike first or a warning or
You're gonna see
something.
it. Yeah.
And they don't do that anymore. Now it's just like the gulag, man. They just like bullet to the head. You're done.
And
we
they don't
won.
care.
Yeah, they don't care.
Yeah.
Yeah. Even when you have a huge channel. I mean, my channel is 300-something thousand. That's cool.
That's big. You're probably in the top 5% of the entire YouTube space. It's not like your channel's small.
But even the 2 million guy, he got nuked. I mean, I thought over 1 million they'd leave you alone or be a lot more careful with it. Obviously, not even that's true. Like it used to be that way, I think. They used to even help me, man. Our channel back in the day, I bitched to Google for like 6 months. It took forever, but they finally did it. They had a Google engineer custom code our URL to be youtube.com/21. We have a 2-digit extension on YouTube. You can just type that into any browser and it pulls up. And that was in 2016. They were still really responsive and helpful and partner
Oh,
managers and all that
nice.
crap. That's all
Yeah.
gone now. They don't do that anymore.
No,
It's
I mean, I have 1 million subs and I still have to do the same thing everyone else does, bitch on Twitter. And then I have
yeah.
to talk to the bot, and it's really scary. That's why, like, you know, even though I have a big channel, like I have to be careful about how often I shill it, but like my subscribes are super important to me. Like people
Mhm.
like I join as a member, I'm like, that's awesome, but it would be awesomer if you left YouTube and you backed me there.
Yeah.
Because like if I get yeeted, like that's my only source of income. And I'm happy
Yeah.
to continue to publish to BitChute and Odyssey and Rumble, but let's be honest, there's zero money there. And
Yeah.
hopefully that won't always be the case. But you know, there just isn't. And that's a real fear. I said that yesterday in my video about it, and it's the truth. The first thing I do every morning when I wake up is check to make sure my channel's still there. And that's
Wow.
no way to live.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
being in an abusive relationship. You're walking on eggshells. I
Yeah.
know you
I
feel it.
roll over.
Sucks.
Yeah, I roll over, I check my YouTube email address to see if there's bad news in there, and then I open my dashboard every day. And
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, you
Dude,
know, and
my heart
content.
sank. When I got that email from YouTube, that notification, my heart sank, man. It sucked. Like I really love YouTube, and even though it's far from perfect since Susan came in, like
Yeah.
I kind of grew up with it, you know, in the 2000s and early 2010s. And to
Mhm.
see them attack me like that personally, like my channel, what I love, yeah, it's a major part of my business. It just really sucked, man. Like huge gut check.
Yeah, it's why someone in chat points out like Jeremy spends frugally. I do. It's why like
Same.
I have had, I mean, like I have had some monster months on YouTube, like
Yeah.
big money, and I put it in the bank. Like
Didn't you buy your wife an airplane too, though? Or
yeah,
something?
but it's not like it's not a Learjet.
I
I
just
mean,
bought
it
an
was,
airplane, no problems. This is an airplane.
hey, my
Beautiful
wife works
airplane.
too. Yeah,
Okay.
my wife works, and her plane was like 70,000. It
Okay.
wasn't like millions of dollars, you know. I mean, that's not nothing, but it's
Yeah.
not, you know.
Well,
But
dude, someone was bitching at me because we still lost. We're gonna get our 11,000 back in a few weeks that they took, so we're gonna get that
yeah,
back. Well, we still lost about $4,500-$5,000 with no ads for running for 2 weeks,
right.
and that money
Yeah,
is gone. And someone's like, "Oh, why are you bitching about $5,000?" I'm like, "Dude, I would bitch
Are you,
about $5. You know how
right.
cheap I am? Like, if I lose $5 in the wash, or and I forget about it, and then I find it 6 months later, I'm like, fuck, there's my $5.
Yeah,
And I'm lucky
yeah,
I even got that back. You know, I could have lost it on the street. But $5, man, I'm a cheap
yeah.
motherfucker.
I don't well, because this game is like, you know, you have ups, you have downs, but it's like when I see these YouTubers that are like hood rich all the time and
Yeah,
just flexing, I'm like, you're gonna
yeah.
be broke. You're gonna be 35 years old, 40 years old, and you're gonna be fucking broke.
Fresh
And
and
like,
fit, dude. That's coming for them, 100%.
yep,
Yep,
they're spending it as fast as they can make it, and
yep,
like you're gonna, you know, look at those guys. Well, there's
yeah,
innumerable examples. Like very few of these YouTubers that blow up who don't have to grind. You know, they blow up, they piss it all away, and like
yep,
that's it. And then you see them streaming on Twitch for like 200 people 5 years later, and they're like
yeah,
desperately chasing that. You know, and it's save your money, kids. And by the way,
yeah,
that's I don't care what you do for a living. Money is power, money is freedom, and I don't care if you can only put a few bucks a week in the bank. You know, if you choose to like go out less, or you know, you can buy. You want to enjoy your energy drinks? Fine, don't buy them from the gas station. Buy them in bulk. Save $1 each. Or you want to have your vices. I'm not saying you can't, but I'm saying like, you know, even if you're like I want to smoke, fine, buy cartons from a smoke shop instead of at the. You can find ways to still enjoy life and enjoy vices and put money away and be smart and not end up like you know, MC Hammer and all these people who go broke
Look at the
because they
Brittany Renner chick. She got knocked up by the NBA player. He's paying $200,000 a month in
a
child support
month.
for
Yeah.
18 years. He ain't gonna last that long.
Well,
And good
right.
luck
What
getting it fixed. They don't care a lot of the time in family court. They just ignore when trying to recheck your income and stuff. They don't care.
well, he'd be better off just paying her out one time 9 million or
Yeah.
whatever it is, 18 years, 200,000. It's a 3.6 million. Find a way to pay her out and then you know,
No, it's
because
200,000 a month.
a month.
It's a month, man. It's a month. It's
Holy
crazy.
shit.
That's a couple million a year. That's $36 million or something. It's crazy.
Well,
It's insane.
you see a lot of these idiot NBA players like
Yeah.
and they get They're like these Instagram models trick them, and they're like, "Oh, I'm on," and then like, boom, that's their meal ticket.
Yeah.
Like they don't like these guys. They don't like them. They're just like, "Oh, I'll never have to work again."
Dude,
I'll
there's
get
old
it.
stories of NBA players back in the 2000s. The NBA put out an official notice that women
I
were banging
remember that.
them, digging condoms out of the trash and stuffing it inside them
I
just to
remember that.
get that check, man. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't I actually I have a little like yes, it's devious, but like, bro, you control your dick, man. Like
Yeah. Yep.
you do that. Like you see all these young bucks and they're hanging out with Instagram models, and then randomly 2 months later they're pregnant, and it's
Yep.
like, hope it was worth it.
With
That's
Fresh
why
and Fit, I think that's what's going to happen. Like they have pseudo Me Too allegations coming in. They have
Yep.
this Harvey Weinstein crap going on, some of which is probably legit. They're
Yep.
blowing money left and right. They're blowing money, particularly on these girls that they're simping for, that they tell dudes not to simp for. And they do it on video. It's insane. They're buying girls left and right, all these like $200 meals and shit. And
Yeah.
it's like, this is so stupid.
Well, and and it'll be funny as exactly, like they don't they will be broke. They don't strike me as people that save their money. There's a reason. If you look at some of the NBA's top players, okay, like Shaquille O'Neal, not Shaquille O'Neal, like LeBron or even Giannis Antetokounmpo from the Bucks,
Hmm.
they're with the same girls that they were with in high school. And
Yeah.
like I see Giannis's wife, and I'm like, I mean, she's it's just you expect him to be like, supermodel hot, and she's just like a regular looking chick, good looking woman, but but he's been with her since before he got a $200 million contract. Like
Yeah.
there's just, you have to like, these NBA dudes are out there on the prowl, man. They're just getting took everywhere, and same thing will happen to these YouTubers. The Fresh and Fit guys will knock someone up, and
Yep.
they they'll take all their money, and then they'll,
Or they're going to get Me Too and get a lawsuit, hush money and kind of shit. Like something stupid like that's going to happen because they're both emotionally immature and unstable. And it's really obvious.
Well, I will say people have emailed me alleging that they like bring in these guests, and they have alleged that there's some sort of expectation for being on the show. We'll just say it that way.
Yeah.
And like somebody, I mean, I don't know why they're emailing that to me, but I'm sure they're emailing it to someone else. Somebody like Abba and
Yep.
Preach, who hate them,
Yeah.
might
Yep.
put that out there and say like, hey, again, same like a man controls their own dick. These women don't have to sleep with them. There's some people have agency, but that can be true, and it could also financially ruin them too.
Mhm. I'll wait and see, and I'm ready to make more memes when it all comes down.
You think YouTube's
So-
going to keep them monetized if they get Me Too'd?
No. I'm surprised they've had a couple guns pulled on their show live. I'm surprised they're still on YouTube at all at that rate. That's crazy.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like they are walking a fine line, and then Tim brought him on and didn't know anything about their grift. That was so disappointing.
Yep.
Oh, they came on there. No, he did catch him on the DMCA thing.
Yeah, he did okay there. I was a little harsh on him for that.
Yeah, like he was like, no, that's not how DMCA works. And they're like, oh, well, like,
I think they're liable to get sued right now. They intentionally and admitted it on video, weaponizing the copyright strike system for defamation, alleged defamation and libel, which, if you want to sue for that, good for you.
Good luck, by the way.
YouTube can terminate your channel for that, and they tell you you're legally liable. I don't know there's specific like federal rules in that shit, and you could definitely get sued for that, and they should be. And had they struck me, I would do that right now. I already have one lawsuit we're doing against another YouTuber right now, and I would file more if they fuck around like that.
Yeah, that's and what people forget is about lawsuits. They are very expensive. I had a lawsuit like 3 years ago that I slam dunk won, never even went to trial, still cost me like $60,000.
Damn.
So like, like I bankrupt the guy just in legal fees, but I still had to spend that money. So fuck around, these guys are going to get sued, and it's going to be expensive.
Yeah.
And they're going to lose. So like, there's just, these dudes are out in front of their skis, so to speak, and it's going to catch up to them almost certainly.
Yeah, they live in La La Land, man. It's just sick. But good luck for them, man. They live in Florida, and I think that's actually one of the reasons they didn't fuck with me. I think I could take them to state court a lot easier and faster. Because everyone else have to do federal court, which is even more expensive and serious.
Well, and the threshold is much higher. You need to
Yeah,
have like at least it was like $500,000 in damage or something. It was like,
it's higher. Yeah.
it has to be huge. Yeah.
Yeah, our thing's in state court right now, and it's going pretty well. It's a non-compete too, so it's a lot simpler. Not defamation and all this other stuff that's more complicated and higher
Okay,
threshold.
cool.
Yeah. But hey, man, I really appreciate your time. It's coming up at about an hour and a half. I'm gonna let you go.
Yep. All right, cool. Thanks for having me, and remember to
100%.
join the Riminal Order to learn how to be a man.
Alpha, ultra, apex alpha male.
Super
Yeah.
alpha giga Chad. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Thanks
But
for
really
having me, dude.
appreciate it. Yeah, man, you're welcome back anytime, and talk to you soon. Everyone watching, make sure you go to thequartering.com. Go to his website. Forget everything else. Go to his website, thequartering.com, and from there you can follow him on everything: Twitch, YouTube, BitChute, Twitter, Odyssey, Rumble. Get on these platforms. Rumble's my favorite right now that I'm rooting for, but Odyssey's cool too, and BitChute for video. He's also on iTunes, Spotify. Like, he's everywhere. Follow him, and once again, appreciate your time and everything you've done to help the Manosphere roasting these ultra mega fraudzillas.
Yeah, well, keep me in the loop if I can if there's another one, because that was a lot of fun for me.
Yeah, sounds good, man. Thanks,
Dude.
and everyone else tuning in. See you guys next week. Peace out.